For years, the crypto markets have followed a sacred script. Bitcoin halvings trigger a massive bull run. And then, like clockwork, altcoins go parabolic. It happened in 2017, it happened in 2021, and right now, everyone is expecting it to happen again in 2025. But what if this time is different? The conditions have changed. The players have changed. The money isn't flowing in the same way. And while everyone is waiting for the inevitable alt season, we need to ask the hard question. Is it actually coming? Because history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. So today, we're breaking down what's different about this cycle, what's actually happening with capital flows, and whether alt season is truly over or if it's just another chapter in the same old story. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. If you guys would do me a favor, if you enjoy these videos, please do like the videos, destroy that like button. If you're new to the channel, what's up? My name is Chasse. I've been in crypto for 13 years now, and my goal is to help bring you guys all the education you need on a macro, economic, Bitcoin, crypto perspective to help you guys understand the market a bit better. All right, guys, let's get into it. Without further ado, let's start with what nobody is talking about, where the money is actually going. Historically, Bitcoin pumps led to alt season. Investors would take profits on BTC and rotate them into alts or altcoins, sending the entire market flying. But now, that money isn't leaving Bitcoin anymore. Since their launch, the Bitcoin ETFs have pulled in over $100 billion in assets under management. But here is the key. ETF money stays in ETFs. It doesn't flow into speculative altcoins. These investors aren't flipping Bitcoin for Solana or meme coins. They're long-term holders, institutions, and funds with strict mandates. And some of them, as we've seen recently, are hedge funds who are here to make a trade like any other asset. Even the new name Strategy, Jeff Park called MicroStrategy the altcoin of TradFi, meaning it's absorbing the speculative capital that once flowed into altcoins. Why? Well, because Strategy is essentially kind of a leveraged bet on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up 10%, Strategy goes up 15%. If Bitcoin goes down 10%, Strategy goes down 15, 20%. And that's exactly kind of the same thing with altcoins, right? People got into altcoins in previous market cycles because if Bitcoin went 5%, altcoins went up 15%. It's kind of the same thing. But now that predominantly most of the flows in this industry have come from institutions, that's why they're calling MicroStrategy the altcoin of the cycle. So instead of Bitcoin being a gateway to altcoins, it is now a final destination. Now, let's talk about another massive shift. There's simply too many tokens now. Back in 2021, Binance had around 300 tokens listed. If you wanted exposure to crypto, those were basically your options. I mean, of course, paid our launchpad was another option. And the altcoin season of 2021, essentially, if you wanted an exchange to trade on and you were a trader, then you had a very small selection of coins on something like Binance. Or if you wanted some altcoin speculation on things that could pump really hard, you went to something like a launchpad. But today, CoinMarketCap tracks over 12 million tokens. And that's just the ones that they list, which means there's even way more than that. Platforms like Pump Fun have turned token launches into one-click meme factory, flooding the market with new coins every single day. For those of you guys who don't know, Pump Fun is literally that. It's just a platform that allowed people to launch a cryptocurrency that had zero value with a click of a button, costing them almost nothing. And that platform was making crazy money. I think a very good thing for the market right now is that that platform is pretty much doing almost no launches and no volume a day. My hope is that that attention distracting platform doesn't recover. Hey, I'm all for innovation, but not for something that has extracted value so much. And we'll get into that in the video here. So what does that mean? Speculation is diluted. Capital doesn't rotate into a few hundred alts. It spreads across millions. Token launches are too easy, making trend cycles faster and crashes more brutal. Instead of a focused alt season, we have a constant churn. where attention is fleeting and few tokens survive. So a good question to ask is, what happened to all the retail money that used to drive Altseasons? Because we can't say retail didn't come. Remember, the Phantom app and Coinbase app climbed their way up the ranks just a few months ago. Well, that money got extracted. Like I said, Phantom Wallet made it to number 2 on the App Store, proving that retail wasn't using exchanges anymore. They were driving straight into Solana meme coins. Same story with another popular app called Moonshot, which onboarded over 192,000 retail users, only for most of them to get wrecked in days. And of course, it wasn't only random, anonymous, low cap, crappy scam coins. 2024 and 2025 saw some of the biggest, most high profile rugs in crypto history. And we've had many big rugs before, but these ones topped them all. We're talking celebrities, we're talking musicians, even entire countries pulling off massive exit scams. And when I say extraction, I mean massive value extraction like we've never seen before. Sure, we've seen scams. Bybit wasn't the first time North Korea hacked anyone. We've seen massive value extraction before, but nothing on the scale of what we've seen recently. $6.6 billion. Let me say that again. $6.6 billion was pulled from retail wallets, that's you and me, extracted, not by other traders, but by bots, insiders, and what's called MEV traders, which is miner extracted value. That's a bit complicated term, but essentially it's just these really crazy hacker devs that use decentralized exchanges to essentially steal some of your transaction when you're trading on DEXs. It's quite complicated, but trust me, it's a very profitable business. And unfortunately, those like you and myself are the ones who often get caught on the wrong side of the trade. That's why I'm excited for platforms like I've talked about recently, Terrace, where you can trade on Terrace and be rest assured that you're not going to have, any MEV bots extracting value from you. Anyway, those are problems that are being solved, but things like insiders and bots and scammers, that we still need to eradicate from our industry. So instead of profits rotating from one asset to another, capital just vanished. Another big shift, passive altcoin investing doesn't work anymore. In 2017 and even in 2021, you could buy almost any altcoin, hold, and eventually make money. That's not the case anymore. Why? Well, the game has shifted to pure PvP, player versus player. And guys, trust me, if you don't know what that means, then I'm guessing you're not playing in these altcoin and meme coin trenches. And for that, I applaud you. And if you aren't early to narratives, you're probably someone else's exit liquidity. There's no just wait and win strategy anymore. Not at least if you're looking for short-term gains. For the record, I've been pretty clear with you guys in recent videos not too long ago on the tokens I'm still positioned in, because even though there's no just wait and win like previous bull markets where everything pumped together in this parabolic altcoin season, there's still room for projects and altcoins, in my opinion, that you have high conviction in. I've talked about those fairly recently. So when you can look at projects that are still building throughout the bear market right now, assuming that potentially we have another altcoin season, and I think that we will, spoiler alert, then now could be a really good time as a lot of those altcoins are sitting at over 90% discount from their all-time highs. But even CZ himself admitted 99% of traders can't beat just holding Bitcoin. So unless you're in the top 1%, the safest strategy is probably just stacking BTC. That's the safest strategy, but the safest isn't always the most profitable. And that's why on this channel before many times, we've mentioned the barbell strategy, whereas where you take majority of your investable portfolio, let's say 85 to 95%, and you put it in something like Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, Solana, and the other small percentage, you can put them in more risky, low cap altcoins that you have high conviction in. And those potentially could be massive outperformers, but they can also very much go to zero. So if you were around in the 2017 and 2020-21 altcoin seasons, and if those old rules don't work anymore, then what does? Well, Bitcoin is the safest bet. Even during the recent downturn, Bitcoin is only down 10% year to date, while ETH is down 42% and Sol 33%. Now, when I say year to date, I mean by January 1st. We know that Bitcoin is now down around 30% from all-time highs. But again, now if you do that respectively, also ETH and Sol are down much, much more than 42 and 33%. So if you're playing alts, you have to be early and be nimble. Narrative rotation is everything. The market moves faster than ever. Miss the shift and your exit liquidity. Avoid crypto Twitter noise. Most people aren't good traders. They're just good at farming engagement. So the question is altcoin season dead? Everything we've covered suggests the game has changed drastically. But here's the thing. In 2017, people said altcoin season was dead. It wasn't. In 2021, again, they claimed altcoin season was dead. It wasn't. Right now, everyone's claiming altcoin season is dead. Is it? That is the question. Maybe, maybe not. But history has a way of proving people wrong. But one thing is certain. When Bitcoin goes parabolic, a rising tide lifts all ships. Whether that means a full-blown alt season or just isolated pumps, that remains to be seen. But my major takeaway here from this video is just because we have 12 million altcoins listed on CoinMarketCap, the fact is that 99% of them are already dead. And so in my belief, personally, I believe when Bitcoin does come raging back, and then does Ethereum, and so do major caps, it is my opinion that we start to see the real projects that have real builders that deserve attention when people start looking for it. That is altcoin season. Remember, most of the riffraff is completely gone right now. This is when people give up and leave. So it is my opinion that we will see an altcoin season again. We just don't have enough liquidity in the world to pump 12 million bags. But for now, guys, this is the rule of the game. In fact, the reason that we're not talking about altcoins right now is because we have to wait and see how the macro economy evolves. There kind of is no rules in altcoins right now, except for follow your favorite projects. And if you're bullish on them, you have high conviction, then again, right now might be an amazing time to pick them up. Because eventually, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next month, it might not even be the next 6 months, but eventually, those bets, if they're deserved, will pay off in magnitudes. That's it for today, folks. Stay sharp, stay informed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.